My brother has been poisoning my girlfriend by adding milk to her food when she's lactose intolerant because she has been ruining our broship for the last 3 years, and my family thinks this little incident is nothing and isn't enough for me to cut them off. She, 24F, has always been allergic to lactose very severely to the point where if she had any traces in her food she would basically poop herself on the spot ever since she was a kid. My brother, 18M, and I, 24M, have always been on good terms and hung out together until 3 years ago when I met my girlfriend. He started getting more distant and mean towards me, talking about how she's ruining our broship and taking me away from our family and him. I told him he was crazy and didn't think too much of it until recently. Going back to 3 years ago when I introduced Katie to my parents, he was livid. I moved out about 6 months later because I was tired of his constant batching about her coming over to sleep and hang out. Ever since then we would have family diners at my parents' every month on Sundays. My family is Italian, so we eat a lot of pasta and sauce relevant. My parents always made 2 separate meals ever since they met her, one with no milk/lactose-free milk for Katie and one for the rest of us. She never had issues unless there was an accidental cross-contamination, which happened every so often. The problem was, every month, at those dinners she was getting sick to the point of rushing to the bathroom and having excruciating pain for an hour with severe cramps. Every single time. At one point I started refusing to go, and my parents kept insisting, so I gave it another try. It was fine for a few months and then it started yet again. This goes on/off for 2.5 years. I got really mad last week and got up in the middle of dinner and said to my parents, "Something is up and someone is messing with Katie's food." My parents go quiet and ask me why I would say that. My brother turns rather pale and stops smiling. I knew it was him. I confronted him and he started crying, saying he felt like he had to get payback at her for stealing away his big brother, that it wasn't fair. He said he was adding milk to the batch made for her and he had no regrets. I was absolutely livid. Katie was as well. She excused herself and asked me to drive her back to our place. It's been 3 months and she cut contact with my parents. Katie refuses to talk to them anymore because they should have had my brother in check and given him a worst punishment. He literally got a talk, a smack behind the head, and that was it, and said she can't believe I didn't stop talking to them as well. My parents, on the other hand, are mad that we let this little incident break our relationships. My girlfriend says if I keep contacting them and insisting she forgives my brother, she's going to leave me. I love this girl to death. We've got plans to buy a house eventually and have kids. On the other hand, I love my parents too, but I can't have both anymore. What should I do? Update. I've read over 200 comments from you guys and it just validated my mind that my family is screwed up. I contacted my mom and confronted her about why she would defend my idiotic brother, and she basically said he was young and stupid. I told her a few of your comments and that Katie could press charges, and she broke down crying, saying he won't do it again. Hell no, he won't, because I told her I decided to cut them off for good. Katie was actually relieved when I told her I was on her side and cut them off. Basically told me she was going to dump me for being an idiot who couldn't support his girlfriend of 3 years when she was basically being tortured for fun. I'm just glad she didn't and that we are getting through this together. Thank you guys for every comment, even the ones calling me out for being an idiot trying to make Katie forgive my brother for the horrible things he did. When you're faced with this kind of dilemma and you've been close to your family for over 20 years, you get blindsided. So me and Katie cut them out starting today, and we plan to move to the USA next year. We always wanted to live there, and finally be far away from them.